Game week is here. Jim Gazzolo, Heath, Schroyer, Polk Nation.
Here we
Excited?
go. Yes, finally. It's been a
this
long
is
summer.
This is what you've been doing for 3 years. You've been building for this moment, right?
I don't know if
Getting
it's
investments?
just this moment, but it's one of the moments for sure. I think that,
All right.
it is a big week, and I'm excited that it's finally here.
Tarleton State, Saturday night. So let's start with basketball.
Okay, why not?
Today, Wednesday, the conference announced that you will be the host for another 3 years of the tournament, men's and women's, correct?
6 more.
6 more years, but 3 more after what was
Correct.
already set.
Correct.
So is there a bomb squad following you around as the rest of the conference comes after you, or what's going on?
No, I mean, look, Chris came to me, I don't know, 6, 7 months ago.
Chris
and
Grant,
our commissioner, and say, hey, look, I have an idea. Obviously we're actively recruiting other schools, and some of the feedback that they're getting is, why do McNeese is hosting all these things, and so would you be up for maybe putting softball or baseball or something like that, or even basketball up on to go get rebid out? And there was no way that we were going to leave the basketball tournament. And when you do the numbers, it's a little under $4 million of revenue, 3.6, I believe, that came into.
That's according to the league, right?
Correct.
Okay.
That came into Lake Charles during that week of the basketball tournament, which obviously trumps anything else by a lot. So when you look at the ability to continue to help this community for the next 6 years at that kind of rate, it's really hard to tell local businesses and hotels in this community, hey, we're not going to extend this and get up to over $4 million, in my opinion, in the next couple of years into this city. It's just one of those things that was a no-brainer for us to do economically. Obviously, they want to go back baseball, and I like to do this with softball too, where the first and second seeds get to host, and then come into what they did a year ago, and then the winner of that.
A year ago, we had two. What would it be?
Like mini.
2 tournaments.
Correct.
With the first and second seeds.
That's right.
And then the winners played a 2 out of 3 best series.
Correct. Exactly right.
Okay,
Exactly
and that
right.
worked out really well.
It worked out well, and it makes the league very unique. And listen, at the end of the day, we have the best facility. We're centrally located in basketball. But the other thing, too, to remember is, in basketball, for the tournament, we get 3 linear ESPN broadcasts from Lake Charles, from the Legacy Center on Joe Dumars Court.
It's a great selling point.
It's unbelievable.
And it makes you very popular with the rest of the athletic directors?
I never worried about that. I don't get a lot of Christmas cards.
I'm sure
okay
the
with
basketball
that.
coaches aren't too happy having to come here.
I don't worry about that either.
All right, well, there you go.
I worry about McNeese, and I worry about our basketball coaches.
But you do give up 3 years of
Yes.
baseball and softball.
Yes. For 1 year, it will go out to bid, but then
Yeah.
after that, it's going to be 1 and 2 seeds.
So it's
are gonna
only
be the
next year.
host. Exactly.
And then
right.
it'll go into the hosting.
Exactly right.
Wow, look at you. So basically, you're just raking this league over the coals. You just own this
Next
league.
question, Jim.
He
Next question.
owns the league. He owns the league, folks. All right, let's go to football now.
Okay.
Interesting, you're opening with Tarleton State. I say that because Tarleton State has eyes for Conference USA. You have eyes for Conference USA. Does that make it a more interesting game for you, or more of a showcase game? Or?
I think the majority of FCS programs out there are having their eyes, to up. Their heads are up and they're looking around. But I think, look, I have so much respect for President Hurley and the administration at Tarleton. I dealt with them a lot when we were talking to the WAC.
Because they wanted to come to the Southland in some ways, didn't they?
They did years and years ago. But they have a great program. Their president is all in with athletics. They are funding it like there's no other.
They're doing a $130 million upgrade in their facilities.
They are. I'm telling you, they are. You talk about all in, they are 100% all in. I have a lot of respect for, like I said, for President Hurley and that administration.
And
they have a really good football program too.
They do have a good football program. It's interesting because they talked about coming to the Southland. You talked about going to the WAC, which is now what is the conference they're in?
They're in the WAC.
The combined.
Yeah, the combined ASUN and WAC. I forget exactly what the. I mean, I don't.
But they only have one bid too, right?
They do. They have one bid.
So essentially, those schools didn't get the multiple bids they thought they were going to get.
Correct.
And you have gotten 2 bids the last 2 years, and you got 3 bids 3 years ago.
Exactly, and we should, as a league, continue to grow and get better. We should be a 2 or 3 bid league into the playoffs.
Well, you have a chance at 3 bids this year.
I think so too.
It depends on who finishes third, who you lose to, who wins, and how you do in the non-conference games.
I
But
agree.
if McNeese were to win and finish third, I think they are a playoff team.
Listen, it would be a huge. Look, I mean, I know we're going to talk to Coach Goff here in the next segment, but you know, we've had some tough years in football, and it's because of a decade or more of not funding it, not supporting it, and now we're just starting to catch up with the funding. And I think this is the year we break through and get back on track.
We'll find out about the football team right after this with Gary Goff on Poke Nation.
Welcome back to Poke Nation. Coach Goff, welcome back, my friend.
Hey, good to be here.
Big week.
Game week.
Game week. You've waited all year
Yep.
from the time of the last whistle of the last game to get to this week. How you feel?
Excited. You know, you're right. There's a lot of hard work goes into this. It's hard to believe it's already here. Seems like just yesterday we were on the recruiting trail, had new recruits joining our campus in January. But here we are, and we need it. We need to face an opponent. Our guys are sick and tired of going against each other right now.
Well, you know, it's funny. I remember of all the years that I coached that you get towards the end, and they're just tired of beating up on each other.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure that, I mean, you guys are right there right now.
Yeah, let's just say with the 100-degree temperature, have flared a lot of tempers on the field. But no, we've had a really good camp. You get to this point, you're worried about just staying healthy, get everybody to the first game healthy and fresh. And so we're excited about this week's practice. I'm probably going to have to pull them back a little bit today because it's only Monday and they're juiced up for practice already. But we don't have to be ready to play until Saturday.
So this is the last time we'll talk about last year, but talk about obviously a year ago today versus where we are now. What's the biggest difference?
You know, a lot more comfortable with the team, with the program, and I think the players are too. You know, we've been here going in year 2 with them. They know what we're about. They know the expectations, the standards. You know, and I've said this many times. It takes a while to build trust. You know, and our players trust that we're doing the best for them, and we trust they're out there giving their best effort for us. And it's a tighter knit group of young men right now, and it's made it a lot of fun to go to work every day and practice with them.
All right, let's get right to it. You have 2 quarterbacks. You don't want to name a starter.
Do you want me just to have him leave?
I mean, we could. I mean, but I know he's going to ask the question.
But you said you might play both.
Yeah.
Do you have different packages for both? And what does it mean to play 2 quarterbacks?
You know, no, I've never done this, never played 2 quarterbacks, and I'm not saying we will. I mean, the guy we go with might get out there and be hot, you know, and we hope that's what happens. And we won't change the game plan at all. We won't have a certain package for either one of them. Both of them are athletic enough. Both of them have strong enough arms, you know, and both have been having a great camp. You know, the decision came down to a couple small details, and that was who protected the ball the best during camp, and you know, who's kind of got the most juice with the team right now. But both young men are very capable and very talented. I'm very happy that we got both those guys on our roster.
You don't tell us, but you've told the team, right?
I haven't really told the team. I've had a talk with both these young men. You know.
All right. So what about the other positions? Because you had a lot of open positions. Are you set now pretty much everywhere else?
Well, we got a lot more depth than we've ever had, right? You know, so we're going to be able to rotate a lot of guys and keep them fresh. You know, I feel like we're too deep at every single receiver position. We'll roll those guys in and out to keep them fresh for 4 quarters. I feel like we've got about 8 offensive linemen that could play. There's not a big gap between number 1 and number 8, to be honest with that. And then on the defensive side, same thing in the secondary. We'll rotate a lot of DBs and safeties to keep those guys fresh the longest, you know. And, you know, especially with this temperature, you know, you like to have fresh legs come the 4th quarter. So a year ago, we weren't able to do this. You know, there was a couple receivers that never came off the field. There's a couple DBs that never came off the field. And then we were searching for that quarterback a year ago. We've got that quarterback this year.
When you walk in, when you're going into the first game, what do you think is your strength this year? I mean, it could change 3 weeks from now, whatever. But today, you go to bed saying, you know what, I feel good about.
Our offensive line is one of our strongest points in the program. It really is. Those guys are maybe not the most experienced in some areas. We do have a few guys that have played a lot of football, but we got size, we got strength, we got depth at position, and I think that's why you said our running backs had such a great camp as well. They got some guys in front of them that are doing pretty good right now. But we've been a disciplined football team. Even last year, you can go back and see that, overall, we're a fairly disciplined football team. I would like to think that's gotten even stronger since then. So we got to go out there and not have stupid penalties. You can't shoot yourself in the foot. You can't live in the world of third and longs. And if you do, you're gonna have a long night because Tarleton's a good football team, and on third downs they do some unique things that will give any quarterback a lot of fits. So we got to stay ahead of the chains, not be behind the chains. But in camp, we've been pretty clean. We had officials here for 2 major scrimmages, and they said, Coach, you guys look pretty good right now from a technical standpoint. There's not a lot of mistakes as far as in penalties.
Last year, you said you couldn't put the whole offense in, you couldn't put the whole defense in because of numbers.
Yeah.
Do you have basically the whole packages in now?
We do. We got the entire offense in. It's kind of funny you said that. We've been game planning now for over a week, and then one of my assistant coaches who wasn't with us last year said, well, Coach, maybe we should go back and look at what they're looking at. It's like, I don't know if we want to do that. But we did. So yesterday we went back and watched our last 2 games, and he kind of looked at it and he goes, Coach, this isn't even our offense. I can't even recognize it. I know, man. And we won those games, but our entire offense is in. I'm very comfortable with calling anything for both quarterbacks. We've had a lot of explosive plays throughout camp. And a year ago, we didn't have those things. Our defense pretty much handed us, every single scrimmage we were involved in. Defense walked away feeling great, and we walked away with our heads hung down, And it hadn't been that way this camp. It's been a lot of back and forth, some great things on both sides of the ball. And, our entire offense is in, and we're ready to showcase it.
When we come back with Gary Goff, we're going to talk about receivers and who stepped up, and also the conference itself, right after this on Poke Nation. We're back with Gary Goff on the eve of the first football game and the first concert. Do you have to go to the
Don't
concert?
forget the concert. Don't forget it.
Who's the concert?
The Flamethrowers.
There we go. Got to get
But
that
don't
in.
forget, though,
Oh, yeah.
after the Flamethrowers, we got DJ Sparrow.
Yeah, that's what
DJ Sparrow is a student DJ who's goes all over town, and he's going to be playing from 9:15 to 10:30 every night.
Oh, wow.
How about that?
Wow.
concert promoter and everything. All right, let's get back to football for a minute. Last year, wide receiver was kind of a mess. You mentioned it many times.
To say.
You brought in a lot of people,
Right.
including a new wide receiver coach.
Yeah.
That seems to be in looking at the scrimmages, that seemed to be an emphasis where there's some guys that made some plays.
Right.
John McCall especially. Are you impressed with that room? And how much did the competition change that room?
Yeah, I tell you what, we brought in 11 new receivers, right? And Coach Roundtree, Roy Roundtree, our receivers coach, he's one of the all-time leading receivers at University of Michigan. He's had a great coaching career. He's a young guy. Very pleased with him and his work he's put into that group. But the last 4 or 5 weeks, I mean, that room has really taken a step in the right direction. Now, we got to line up and do it in a game when it counts, right? But John McCall was a redshirt freshman a year ago, very little experience, was just very... he would make a mistake here, make a great catch there. It was just up and down pretty much all season. Didn't play a lot, but this camp he's really shown flashes where he can do something special. We signed Jonathan Harris from Mississippi Gulf Coast, who can fly. I mean, he's electric. He's got a lot of speed with him. But then Ala Brown's another guy we signed a year ago. Didn't really play a whole lot. Was inconsistent himself, but has had a great offseason and a great camp himself. So, I'm really pleased at a lot of different positions with that receiver group. You'll probably see a true freshman play a lot. I mean, he's a talent, and that's Micaiah Paris. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he can flat out run. He's got that chip on his shoulder that most freshmen don't have. And then in the slot, you got Jalen Johnson, who's kind of emerged as one of our leaders, on the offensive side of the ball, and is Mr. Consistent and reliable. And then, our tight ends. I think Kyle Klink has made some really good steps in the right direction. So we got to help that offensive line. We got to help that running back room, and definitely help the quarterback. And there wasn't a whole lot of that last year.
So, Coach, let's go through this. Let's go through the week, right?
Yeah.
So Polk Nation understands. So you play on Saturday at 7 p.m. What does practice look like today? What does the week look like?
Yeah, so Monday's, well, first of all, we're going at night. Never done that before, and we're just doing that to kind of stay out of the heat. And again, I want to get the guys to the game fresh as we can.
Yep.
But Mondays is about an hour and 15-minute practice. It's a lot more meetings. We're introducing to the team our new opponent, right? Lining the scout team up, showing them where they're lining up, and then so we'll go for about an hour and 15 minutes. Tuesday and Wednesday is the meat of the week. Those are the two tough practices. They're a 2-hour practice where we're getting after each other. Thursday's cut back. Thursday now we're rehearsing the entire game plan on Thursday. It's about an hour and 30-minute practice. And then this Friday, we'll go early morning Friday before classes start. So that way we're not going to go Friday night and then turn around on Saturday. So we'll go early Friday morning. That's about an hour and 5-minute practice. It's just special teams. And then we're into kind of game day mode on Saturday. But it's a little bit different week for us, but we've been going on the schedule for the last 2 weeks because of school starting and then the heat. So we play at night. I think it's a good thing for us right now, but it's going to be a long week because everybody's so excited and amped up to play. So we're going to have to kind of hold them back a little bit and keep their emotions down.
What about lifting? Like, how do you continue to lift through the season and through this week?
Yeah, because I don't want them here at 6 a.m. all the way until 9 at night.
Right.
It's just such a long day. So how we're doing it this week is while one side of the ball is meeting, the other side is lifting, and then we just rotate. So they'll meet when they get out of class, starting at 2 o'clock, and then we'll start weights at 2:15 and then rotate. But they'll lift on Monday and Wednesday, and then for all the guys that are being redshirted, the young guys, they'll lift Monday, Wednesday, and Friday because they're obviously not going to play on Saturday. But so it's. A lot of people maintain their weights at this time of year. We're still trying to increase our weights in PR. That's kind of the new age deal of the weight room.
Yep.
The NFL does that now, to where a lot of their players have their personal records throughout the season.
Okay, 4-7 last year, 4-7 the year before, 3 straight losing seasons. You weren't here for all of them, so we can't blame you for all of them.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that.
But everybody wants to at least see the kind of the script flipped.
Sure.
But there's talk of everybody talking about there's a lot of hype in this. Where's the pressure on this, and where do you see your team?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to put any pressure on myself or the team. I don't think that's very healthy. I mean, you sit here and start worrying about, I hope we end up at this. I hope we end up at that. I hope we do this and that. Then you start worrying about the wrong things, in my opinion. We're going to take it one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 game at a time, and I want the team to stay focused just like that. All the outside noise, I call it the white noise, where you got people weighing in on they should do this, they should be that, they should win 9 games, 10 games. I talked to the players about blocking that out. Again, we can't worry about those things. If you're worrying about where we're going to be, you're not taking care of where you're at. So I get it. Hey, I want to as well, right? I want to win every single game we line up and play, and I give you my word, we're doing everything in our power to put the best product on the field and play at the highest level we possibly can. But you're not going to see me put the pressure on myself, and I'm not going to let the team feel that kind of pressure, right? We're going to go out there and do the best we can one day at a time, and we'll see where the cards fall at the end of the season. I hope it's where we all want to be.
Let's start Saturday night at Cowboy Stadium against Tarleton State. All right, when we come back, we'll have Coach's final thoughts on Polk Nation after this. We're back for the final segment, Coach. A lot of things going on this weekend.
It's a huge weekend. We got soccer at home Friday and Sunday, and then obviously we got a huge football game on Saturday.
Okay, Friday night.
Block party. Don't forget the block party.
Yeah, where you buy the free beer for everybody. That's nice. I want to point out, though, a lot of construction going on around the stadium.
It is.
So is there any parking differences from this year from last year?
We have a little bit fewer Lot A passes because of the construction, and we have to block off some of that area. Lot B is completely shut down, and that's been that way for the last year. So, we have some parking issues or constraints, but it won't stop us from having an unbelievable tailgate. And I say this all the time, and it's not just me, but this is quoted out there, that McNeese, and we have the greatest, biggest, and best tailgate and game day experience in FCS football, and it's not even close. So if you haven't gotten a ticket, make sure you get your ticket. We are still selling season tickets and game day tickets in the Friday night block party, it's going to be off the charts.
Why? Now, what makes this block party better than last year?
The food trucks are going to be a little bit different. We have I think our lineup this entire year is phenomenal. But the neat thing that we've done is we're going to keep the party going a little bit longer this year. Where, like, we have the band starting the Flamethrowers at 7:00. They're going to play straight through till 9, no break. And then from 9 o'clock until 10:30, 10:45, we're bringing a DJ Sparrow, that is a student DJ. It's going to come in, and it's going to be
Tailgates
awesome.
are sold out, right?
Tailgates are sold out. All of our Champions Club, all of our box seats, our premium tickets are sold out, but there are still some reserve tickets and plenty of GAs.
How important overall is this season for you guys? Not just football, but basketball. And this is an investment year where investment's never been higher.
Yep.
So there has to be a product on the field that kind of supports that, doesn't it?
For sure. I mean, listen, the more you invest, the more you expect. You can't have expectation. You can't have a commitment level and an expectation level that are at different levels. You just can't. We have committed a lot, so we obviously expect a lot. But I think that those two programs in particular have been so horribly funded and supported from a financial standpoint for years, that now that we're getting the funding back where it's been or where it needs to be, this is a big year for football because we need to show some real improvement. And then this is obviously a big year for basketball because we have doubled down and committed to basketball. Basketball is a quicker turn because it's just less players.
Less players.
I think that we'll be drastically better in football. I think Coach Goff is right to throw a number out there. We're going to win this many, I don't know. But I think that for us to win more than we lose is the expectation for me, for sure. And I think that we're on the cusp of doing that. I know that we've said this before, Jim. I don't know everything about football, but I know what discipline and culture and coaching looks like, and we have that in Coach Goff and his staff. They've done a phenomenal job. And you and I talk about it off the air all the time. This program was beyond a train wreck when he took over. I mean, it was beyond a train wreck, and it's taken a lot of time, a lot of resources, a lot of effort, blood, sweat, and tears to get it to where it is today. And where we are today is a heck of a lot better than where we were a year ago, let alone 2 or 3 years ago, and we're on the right trajectory.
And the strange thing about it is there's only 4 seniors on. There's
right.
only 6 players on the roster who will lose eligibility.
That's right.
So depending on, obviously, with the portal and with everything else, this is a program that's now being built for a run, not just a year, correct?
100%. I mean, Coach Goff has come in, and the reason I hired him is because we needed someone to come in and truly gut it and build it from the bottom up and take no crap and do it the right way, because we had the culture and the discipline and the structure, et cetera, were not there. And it's not just one person to blame. It's just it was that way.
There's
for
a lot
years.
of people that could blame, yeah.
And we needed someone with that experience, and he's done that tenfold. I'm so excited about this year. I'm really excited about Saturday. And honestly, Poke Nation, come out and support this football team because
Are you going to watch this game?
Oh yeah, I'll be all
Because
over.
here's what I see.
I'll be
with
all
you
over
with
the
Here's
tailgates.
what I
What are you
see
talking
with you
about?
during the game.
Okay.
Long about halftime, you start strolling around the ESPN reporters and find your way to be the halftime guest. That's what I see every week.
No, I
out
have
of
never
you.
done that unless I've been requested. I go,
Yeah, but it's not easy to be requested if you're way up high. It's pretty easy if you're requested
No.
if you're tugging on the person's pants.
No, I do not. You are so full of it. Unbelievable. Don't ever trust the media, by the way. I learned that as a coach. But here's my game day routine.
Yeah.
I get to the stadium about 11 o'clock. I go through the pregame script with my marketing people, and then about 12 or to 12:30, I start going all through the tailgates, and I stop by every tailgate, get a little something to eat, have a beer or two, visit with people. It's phenomenal, and then I go.
You get there a lot earlier than I do.
Then I go take a shower, and then we get ready for game time.
You get there a lot earlier than I do.
I know it's hot though.
I'm not going to.
It's
get there
great.
that early.
It's great. I love our fans. I love the tailgate experience. I'm telling you, it is the best game day. It is the best
Yeah, I've heard
tailgate
that.
experience at FCS football, not even close.
I've heard that.
And don't miss Friday night. Flamethrowers, 7 o'clock in Alumni Grove.
So don't forget first game Saturday night. And don't forget to watch Sound Off on CBS Lake Charles. We'll see you next week on Poke Nation.